What's going on, people? I assume this thing has started. There's always that weird delay, but whatever. So, got a box of shoes that came in a little bit ago, like an hour ago, maybe. I don't know, something like that. It's funny how light this box is. Kind of makes you think like that it's going to be empty. Hopefully it's not, because that'd be not great. But what should be in here is a pair of megablasts, which are known to be pretty light. Given that these things have been out since, what was it, September? Yeah, because I got them in August. So yeah, maybe it was late August, something like that. No, it was the beginning of September was when they came out. So a lot of people probably already know what you're up against when you like go ahead and look into these and all that stuff. But it's a new color, so let's go ahead and talk about it. It's a thing that I do from time to time. Not a huge fan of repeating myself overall, just like answering questions that I've already answered. But when you're doing a review of a same shoe that's just in a different color, I don't know, it just feels like it's different. I don't know. But if you ever saw those Hirachi videos or all those, what's that, the Yeezy 350 videos, there are certain things that I've covered so many times. So many times. All right, make sure these things look like they're supposed to look. No scuffs and damages and whatnot. Everything's looking fine. So cool. Let's go ahead and jump on into it. For those who may have missed it, this right here is the asics megablast in the ekiden color. I don't know how to pronounce that word exactly. I don't know if I've ever said it out loud until right now. But the last time I had anything from that world or whatever was the Adios Pro 4, which actually I have another pair coming up soon, don't I? Anyway, so across the bottom, that's what things look like down there. It's pretty much your standard thing that you've been getting from a lot of asics things lately, right? This trampoline inspired outsole that they often talk about. Yeah, that's what it is. Pretty nice as far as grip and all that good stuff goes. I've worn these a number of times, not this one, obviously, but the, what's that, purple and pink or something color? Whatever the other one is. Midsole wise, right? Super thick down there. You can tell that. It's kind of nice. Got a little big bold font going on there for the flat foam turbo squared and all that. On the inside, pretty boring. Nothing really happening on there. But I will say the feeling of it makes up for how boring it might be visually speaking. Anyways, and then as far as the upper goes, it's really nice. I do like that. See, got some paper in here. Take that out for a second. I don't know if you can tell. You can kind of see through there, right? I see my fingers moving around, which is a nice thing, right? Super breathable and all that stuff. Big fan of that. Because if you're going to be running around a lot, you don't want your feet getting all hot. I wore the first pair I was pacing the Virginia Beach 10 miler, right? The 8 minute pace, was it? Yeah, the 8 minute pace worked out pretty well. It was not the warmest day already, so that was good. But, even if it had been, the feet would have been feeling pretty all right. So that's what's going on down in there. Otherwise, it's basically all the same stuff you've seen before, just with a slight green to it. Excuse me, a light green to it. It's not slightly green. It's very much all over, right? Anyway, so, and then down on the inside, Mega Blast is what's written down on in there. So I'm not going to dwell too much on the looks and whatnot. If you care to see that, you'll see it whenever I actually get around to making a full length review on these. For right now, I'm mostly just going to talk about the performance side as far as how they work for me. But before I do that, and the sizing too, don't let me forget the sizing. But before I do that, the one thing that I do want to mention, I've run around a fair amount, sure, but it's pretty much just like as a hobby. It's kind of a recreational sort of thing, right? It's not my life. It doesn't define me. It's not a thing that I even really consider myself to be super knowledgeable about. So when I tell you things about how I feel about stuff, it's kind of just that. It's just like one man's opinion. So take it, do whatever you want to with it, but just don't think too much of it because, again, there's nothing really going on here other than just me telling you how I feel, right? So you could very much go out and buy the same shoe, sure. Maybe you'll have a different experience, right? Remember that because we're different people. You might like different things. It happens. Anyways, that aside, I bought these in a size 9.5. You see, I have a size 9.5 foot, tends to work out pretty well for me. Not so much on these right here so much, but we'll get into that in a little bit. So, but usually true to size on the running shoes has been fine. Some people do mention that going up a half a size can make sense because you run around, your feet get a little swollen up from like all the running and stuff, and I get that, right? I didn't have any issues with these, but again, that's just me. Now, anyways, as far as like the performance of these, so a while ago. I did a lot of running around in these. I paced people for the most part though. That I didn't really think about it till later because I was thinking to myself like, okay, I've run around in these a good bit. They worked out pretty well. Taking them out some run groups. I paced someone for a 5K, paced a whole bunch of people for a 10 miler, did some other stuff in them. And then I was thinking, yeah, these are pretty cool. I'm going to get this green pair, right? Because these work out great. And then I thought to myself, do they? Because I haven't really worn these in any serious way. So when I did the Rocky run, I happen to have that right here. Remember that? The Rocky run? It's got that little, get that out of the way. The Rocky run, right, is up in Philadelphia. So when I did that, it's a 5K at 7, 10 miler at 8. I ran with the purplish reddish pair. That the 5K was that like 6:15, something like that. The 10 miler, like what, 7:30 maybe, something like that. Either way, they held up pretty well. I was able to move in these very quickly without feeling like I had to work too much for it. But also when it came to like those 10 milers, like you have that extra comfort in there. So even if you're bringing it down, going a little slower, they're still going to feel really good, and you're going to feel like you can be out there for a while if you need to be. So all in all, these, when I did actually go out there and put some real effort in, still held up quite well. And I will say the first half of that 10 miler was at a 7 minute pace. It's just like the second half after like the hill was like 7:45 to 8, right? So that's why I kind of split out to about a 7:30. So either way, yeah, I was running around in these. They worked out very well. I assume they'll probably work out well for you. And I say that because a lot of people have been speaking very highly of the megablast over the last couple months. So if you're thinking about picking up a pair and you have $225 to give over to asics, I would say it's worth it. But again, that's just me, right? So take it, do whatever you want to with my little opinion and whatnot. But right now, I'm going to give you a couple more of those, but on some different things, because here's the situation, people. Been a little slow to get the reviews done, right? I got other stuff that I do. I was just in, where was I? San Diego last week, I think it was, for SummerSlam, Survivor Series, right? I have like concerts and stuff that I go to, my own little weekend running events and such. So the time that I have, I do have a lot of free time, obviously, because like that's why I'm able to do all that stuff. But the time to do this, because I keep taking it up with other things, not so great. Anyway, so I will be doing some reviews on these two that you're about to see here, but I'm just going to talk about it now because I honestly don't know when I'm going to get to it. This right here is the Nike Vomero Premium, right? I was a huge fan of the Vomero 18, big fan of the Vomero Plus as well. I spent more time with the 18, I feel like, so maybe that's why I speak more highly of it. But the Plus has done quite well for me too. I can't argue that. But so these right here, right? I didn't think that this was going to be a shoe for me, but at the same time, I was saying, okay, but it's the Vomero. Like they've been doing pretty well for themselves, right? So I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna forget how I hated the Pegasus Premium. I'm gonna get this thing, and it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay, Tristan. Just get it, and everything will work out. I don't really like this shoe a whole lot, right? I can't speak down on it. It's not bad or anything. It's just that it's really just not for me, right? And I kind of knew that going into it because it's the big body style, right? This thing's like 55 millimeters high back there, 45 in the front, 10 millimeter drop. Yeah, it's a little weird to walk around in. It does feel significantly more stable than the Pegasus Premium did. Sure, it's got that going for it, but at the end of the day, it's still kind of one of those things of like, do you like wearing it though? And not so much, right? It's working out fine, but to me, right, when I look at other things of this style, say like the megablast is kind of like one of those cushiony ones, right? The glycerin max, I'll stick with the glycerin max, right? I would much rather wear those if I'm going out for like a slow recovery run type day, or just pacing somebody maybe a little bit longer, a little bit slower than my usual or something. I'd rather wear that because it feels a little more stable under the foot, right? If you just want straight up cushion, oh yeah, this is definitely your one that you're going to want to go with. The Vomero is the cushion shoe of Nike's running shoes right now. So if that's all you want, then look no further. This is going to work out great for you. And even with these bubbles down here, it still felt, like I said, way better than the Pegasus Premium. Now, once I was running around in these, though, that's the thing that people might also wonder about because, I get some people might spend all this money just to walk around in them and do what you do. It's not really my style. But here's the thing I ran around in these. I did a 5K on Thanksgiving or something. Opening mile, 6 minute pace, right? Huge mistake. You can do it, right? It's just not going to feel very good because every step felt like a little wobbly because again, it's still like these big air units down here, down here, right? So every step, I felt like I was trying to like doing one of these and trying to have to like stabilize and go into the next one. Kind of just makes you feel unsafe. Kind of like when I ran around in the Glide Ride Max, I believe it was. So you got that going. Once you slow down though, and I'm doing like 730, yeah, everything is fine. Like I said, I can't complain about it. It's just a feeling that I don't prefer over other things that I already have. So that's why I say I don't really care for it in that way, right? So I get I get that might be kind of a long-winded thing, but the point that I'm trying to make is that while this isn't for me, I can see why people like it and would like it. So take that, do what you will with it. Again, I'm just one man with my opinion, just telling you how I feel about it or whatever. So there's that for you. But yeah, I'll still wear them from time to time, and it's not like a problem or anything like that. Like I said, if you want to walk around in something and maybe you just want some extra cushion or you want to feel like you're a little bit taller, I guess that's a thing, right? Then here, go with these. But also, I will say, running around in them, it did feel a lot more natural than certain other, was it like the Pegasus Premium and some other things that just kind of feel too squishy, right? Because I'm not a fan of like overly squishy things already. That's why, like with Brooks, I'm a big Hyperion guy. So yeah, it's something. But this is also why I realized a while ago. I was like, as many Air Maxes as I was into and all that good stuff, those are just gonna have to stick to casual wear. I get they were a running shoe at some point, but I don't think I'd be carrying around in a pair now. Somebody said something. Let's see. I'm going to put this on the screen while I answer it. And that actually made it harder to read. That's dumb. All right. Why doesn't it come up over here? Let me change this to live chat. I don't know. Maybe they deleted the comment. I don't know. Let's see. Haha. I think they look cool, but for normal wear, like jeans and such, can't be bothered. Yeah, this isn't that. It's not going to do it for it. Most people, I don't think. I mean, especially even like this color, because it's already like it's a little much, right, as far as the shoe, but then certain colors make it like even more. So you just have this just drawing a little too much attention. I mean, I get some people want their shoes to be like the standout thing of whatever they're wearing or whatever, but that to me is a little too much. So no, thank you. No, thank you. But it makes sense, if you want cushion, well, there you go. Moving along though, this right here. What is this? The Kipchoge Nike Vaporfly 4? I feel like that's right. Very sure that's right. Anyway, so these right here, right? I will say this. First off, when I put these on, they felt fine. I bought these in a 9.5. Oh, 9.5 on the last thing too. Worked out fine. Sizing wise, no complaints, none whatsoever. On these though, like I kind of alluded to earlier in this little sit down here, they felt fine initially. But then, like when I was going out to like run around in them and stuff, then I was like, like these do feel a little snug, but maybe it'll be okay. I don't know. And I finished the thing. I did, what was it? It was a 5K on one day, and then it was a half marathon the next day. It was like the Norfolk Harbor thing. I don't know. I think I have got the little medals right over there. So during the runs, right? I mean, the 5K, it's kind of a moot point in a sense because like you're in, you're out like 20 minutes, right? But doing the half, that is kind of where you might start to notice problems if there are going to be problems. And I didn't notice any, right? Everything went fine. All 13 miles, it was a 6:55 throughout the whole thing. So about what, 130, just under 131. So everything went fine, right? I got no complaints there. But they just felt like they could have, like a little bit more room would have made them a little more comfortable. And this is a very narrow build, right? This here, Vaporfly. And then combined with, like I was saying earlier, the whole thing about how your feet can kind of like swell up as you're running because it's just a thing that happens. So going up a half size in these is probably going to be in your best interest, right? And even if like that gives you a little too much room, it's a lot easier to correct because I feel like it won't be too much. I feel like it'll be just the right amount, but it's a little easier to correct if there's too much room. You just get some different socks. Maybe get like the cushion ones instead of the thin ones, you know? That's how I feel anyways. But otherwise, as far as like how they work, as far as the performance side of it, right? So I kind of feel like these were not all that great. And to me, I thought that was going to be the case going into it because lots of the Nike things that I have, they tend to be kind of expensive and not perform as well as the other things that are in that same ballpark, right? So for these, I had no complaints about them, but they just didn't like wow me, right? And these come in at what, 270 or 280? So they didn't like make me think, oh wow, this is going to be like a great shoe to have on or anything like that. Or like I'm going to tell everybody that they need to get these in the same way that I felt so strongly about certain other carbon based shoes. Now, I do still need to go out and get like some track work in these, and I'll probably take the Metaspeed Sky, maybe also the Edge, and do a quick comparison because I want to believe that would be better because they're more expensive, but at the same time, reality just historically speaking, I just feel like my first impression before getting this and my initial impression once finishing those runs, I feel like that's going to be correct and that I'm just going to not think as highly of these as I do of other things, which wasn't necessarily like a bad thing. It's just that, you know, if something isn't better than something else that you already have, then it's kind of like, oh, that's kind of a waste of money. But at the same time, I'm not going to say it was like necessarily like worse either. I didn't put these on and think, oh, this isn't doing anything for me, right? I still felt the normal like extra kick in there from like having like the plates and all that stuff, right? They were still doing a lot of the work for you. They're lightweight, all that stuff. They look really cool, like the box and all the extra details and whatnot. Yeah. So I'm gonna say that these are like a fine wear. You know what I'm saying? It's just don't expect me to talk them up because to me, I think I'm still pretty good with like I said, the Sky from Asics, the Hyperion Elite 5 from Brooks, the Endorphin Elite 2 from Saucony. Those are kind of like the ones that, I'm used to wearing and like a lot in their own order. But, I've done all the reviews and stuff on those for sure already, so you can see all that stuff for yourself. Oh, and the Adios Pro 4, right? So yeah, they worked out fine, just didn't amaze me or anything like that. But maybe I'd feel better if I wore like the Vaporfly, or excuse me, the Alpha Fly. But I just didn't care to spend the Alpha Fly money. Also, have you ever seen the Alpha Fly? It looks dumb. I mean, I guess I got this Vomero Premium, which also looks kind of dumb, but I'm just saying. So yeah, there we go. There's that. I think I covered everything. Going to do a quick little recap and move on about my day. If you guys have any questions or comments or concerns, there is some kind of chat box on the screen somewhere. Feel free to use it. Say whatever you want to say to me. If it's about the shoes, if it's about anything else, this is your window to hear from me in real time because who knows the next time I'll sit down and actually respond to comments. It hasn't been happening a lot lately. Also, part of that is YouTube's fault because I used to have all these emails that would pile up and I'd say, oh, comment, 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 comment. For whatever reason, YouTube decided that they don't think people need email alerts about comments. Now all you get is this little YouTube studio little ding thing in the upper corner where the little bell is. I don't pay a lot of attention to that, right? So these comments, if I go into the YouTube studio, I still see all of them. They're all there, but I kind of don't go in there as much as I probably should because I haven't been as active as I probably should be. So in case you're wondering about me and not responding to things, that is why. Anyways, recap time. Get your typing in if you need to. This one right here, this is what we started off with. This is the asics megablast in the green color, the ekiden color. Ekiden, maybe? I don't know. But I'm a big fan of these things. They worked out great for me. They will probably work out well for you. Following that, went over to these. Yeah, the little, is that a little bunch of leaves down there? Jesus. I did say something once about that I'm really cleaning my shoes. Yeah, that's kind of where that comes from. Yeah, the Nike Kipchoge Vaporfly, right? Not bad, not bad. You're definitely going to want to consider going up that half a size, though. That it might make things work out a little better for you, right? They still felt fine. You know, they were still moving around like I needed to, but you know. But also consider other carbon plated shoes because there are some other ones that are pretty nice. And also this right here, the Vomero Premium, right? It is everything that one would expect it to be. So I guess that's something you can say about them. So if you're looking for some cushion, that is going to give you some cushion, right? I'm not the biggest guy, so I don't really need a whole lot under my foot to keep me feeling pretty all right. But if you are one of those bigger people, and I'm talking like borderline obese or whatever, that might be something you might want. It might help with the knees or something. That's what I've heard from people. I don't know. Can't really quite relate, but hey, it is what it is. So there we go. I don't see anything in the thing, right? Cool. Fantastic. From me to you, have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, whatever it is, wherever you are. I'm done with all this stuff. I'm going to move on and go finish catching up on Dynamite, which isn't always worth it, but I do like wrestling, so I just kind of ride it out anyways. Where's that stop button? Ah, there it is. All right, cool. Later, people.